A very warm welcome to you on this rather cold winter's day. It's probably incumbent on me to produce something that's something, well, to warm things up. An array, a collection, if you like, of Billingham bags. Billingham, a little bit of background information, began in 1973, cutting canvas and leather in a spare bedroom. Started by Martin and Ros Billingham, but by 1978-ish, they noticed that things were beginning to happen. They were exporting to America, and the Americans were using what ostensibly were designed to be fishing and shooting bags. The Americans were using them as camera bags. Bring on the first Billingham bag, camera bag, I should say. And that was this. The monster that is the 550. This is a bag that I've always had. This was my first Billingham bag. Bit of a beast. I'm having to sort of sit back there to get the whole thing in. This is a bag this is the only bag, this is the largest Billingham bag, and the most expensive Billingham bag. And it's the only Billingham bag that comes with ears, these two pouches at the side that come off. They detach very quickly, very easily. They're kept on by a couple of leather tabs with press studs, not press studs, these sort of brass fittings that just pop on, pop off very easily, one either side. But it's the only bag in the range that come with pouches. All the others that can have pouches attached are separate and bought separately. But this particular one comes with them. That's how it's designed. As far as I can tell, it's pretty much the same bag that it was back in 1978. This particular bag is about 25 years old, I want to say, and still going very, very strong. There's a sort of padded section here, very strong webbing. And I think that's probably one of the loveliest things about Billingham. It doesn't matter whether you need a big bag like this or whether you just want a small little pouch with a sling. They're all made to the same quality and standard. The only thing that's different is the size, and you pay more for the large bag because obviously more materials are involved. But the quality is exactly the same. All use a 3-ply system, which is very, very rainproof, very rain resistant. I mean, in essence, it is waterproof so long as water's coming from above. Obviously, if you throw water in the sides, it could get in underneath. I mean, that's zipped, but it's not a waterproof zip exactly. But let's say, for simplicity, they are completely rainproof. Now, back in 1978, they didn't have the range, they didn't have the colours, and they didn't have the materials that they use today. They've always used canvas, and they're still using canvas today, and that's what I am. I'm a canvas man, and as this vlog goes on, you'll begin to realise that I'm also a khaki man. Khaki and tan leather man. They do use a new material now. Also, I don't think it's coming to phase canvas out. Maybe it is, I don't know, but I doubt it because the canvas is just a wonderful material in my opinion. I don't dislike the new material. I think it's called Fibernite. Fibernite, have I got that right? Yeah, Fibernite. You know, to all intents and purposes, it seems like a fantastic material. I just prefer the feel of canvas. Fibernite, I think the claim to fame is that it's going to look newer for longer, which I have no reason to disbelieve. It's just that I am, you know, when you're completely happy with something, then, and it exceeds your expectations, why would you move from that? I've not used a Fibernite, so I can't sort of give you first-hand experience of what Fibernite is. I felt it. It does feel, to my way of thinking, slightly more man-made, slightly more kind of nylon-y. But I would imagine it's probably more rain resistant. I've seen some vlogs where people pour water onto these things, and the water just beads away. Whereas the outer surface layer that you see here with canvas, I think certainly after some time, water would begin to seep in, but it wouldn't get past the rubber membrane that they use. So typically, as I say, this is what they utilize with all their camera bags. They do other ranges, some travel bags now as well. So they're really branching out. But this is, as I say, a 3-ply, which is exactly what they use with the Fibernite as well. It's just the outer layer is Fibernite. So that is 3-ply, believe it or not. It doesn't look 3-ply, but it does have the rubber membrane, which keeps it nice and dry, which is a great thing. Now, obviously I'm not going to be able to show you all of these things. I have about 6, maybe 7 bags to show you here today, which is a little bit ambitious, I acknowledge. I can't really show you everything about this bag. I'll endeavour to do so, but you know, this bag has shifted usage. It's changed usage over the years. I don't take a bag out this size anymore. It's just not required because my photography has changed, and so has the usage. I haven't sort of thought at any stage get rid of it. No, it just evolves and adapts to whatever's happening in my life. So typically this bag I will use now to house all my photographic stuff. I mean, there's just so many gubbins. I mean, there's a magic arm here of sorts. There's a I can't even remember the name of that, you know, like a gimbal type thing. It just has everything. If I want anything photographic, I go to this bag because I know it's in there. It's got a mini tripod. I mean, it has, I've got my latest batch of, this will come out, my latest batch of film. Just, yeah, it has cotton gloves for when I'm handling photographs. It has rubber gloves, or it's rubber, but it's that kind of material for when I need to use those. It has straps that I still use from time to time, depending, various different straps. We accumulate stuff as photographers over the years, and basically everything except my cameras goes in this bag. It also has another usage. I've just come back from a trip, and when I go away, invariably, everything comes out of this bag, everything, and I just take what I need. So it doubles up as a travel bag. I may use the end pouches. I might whip them off depending on, you know, depending on what I'm taking, how much I'm taking. I think Billingham say, you know, it's got these zips at the front here. I should just go through that a little bit, and it's got these front pouches fixed, and a sort of satchel type strap fitting, so the lid comes, once you've zipped up the main compartment, this goes over everything, and you can either hold it like so, with that clipped in, just clips in under there like so. Lovely quality leather. Like so, and you can either hold it like that in the hand or whack it over your shoulder like so. It has a back zip section here. I mean, it is huge, and it's all finished beautifully, and some studs underneath, 4 in each corner. This bag, honestly, you know, 25 years old. It looks like it would be good for another 25 years at least. Quite literally, you know, I'm not exaggerating there. I mean, there are no rips. It's not frayed anywhere. The strap is still 100%. True, it doesn't get the usage that it used to have. So typically, when I bought this was my first bag. When I bought this, I was lugging around Hasselblad medium format stuff, a Pentat 6.7, 35mm, probably an F3, Nikon F3. And the Hasselblad would have several backs to it, plus a Polaroid back, and you know, before long you've got to have a big bag, and that's what it was used for. But as I say, now it's changed. It's evolved into something else, and you know, I'll never get rid of this bag. It's, you know, it's incredibly useful still. It's just changed its usage. It's, you know, other than a few little marks here and there, I don't even notice them because they're so small. You know, I don't nurse this bag, but I don't abuse it ridiculously either. You know, they're quite expensive bags, so I tend to take care. You know, if I was outside and it was raining and there was a puddle, I typically wouldn't sit it down on the ground. I would keep it on my shoulder, but I don't nurse them either. They're robust bags. They take a lot of stick. I'm not overly mindful to protect it. I will say that probably once every year, every 18 months, I don't really know, I'm guessing, I hoover them all out because they will not attract dust, but they will accumulate dust, as all bags will. So I just whip the hoover out, get the nozzle on it, sweep it out, and it's good to go. And I'll also give the leather a little bit of a bit of what do I use? It's like a sort of saddle soap of sorts, but just very lightly, just to give the leather a little bit of nutrition, because leather will dry out. But I don't go, you know, I'm not overly prosaic about it. I just do it very lightly, and then rub it off the following day. And I don't do them all at the same time. So that's the 550. That's their sort of, I don't know about flagship bag. I don't know how popular it is even today. I've no idea. I would imagine the Hadley bags are perhaps a better sell. I honestly don't know. This could be, I mean, look, if you're a professional photographer or cameraman or whatever, these are amazing. These are just what you need. They have the inserts which you can take out. all very padded. And that's the wonderful thing about all Billingham camera bags. No matter how large or small, they're very padded. Most of them have the boxes that come out. This one doesn't, obviously. But, you know, the lovely thing is that you know that not only they're protected from the elements, and you can go out in any weather with them, but they're padded, so you get a lot of dense foam protection. And the thing that I love about them today is that with the inserts, it's like a industrial Velcro that they use, and you can tailor it to exactly what you want. Now, typically I don't like going out with a bag that is too big for my requirements, but I don't like a bag that doesn't have enough room. So I'll just choose the bag, and we'll talk about those in a second. I'll just choose the bag that's appropriate for that, for any one particular day. I think I would say, and add on to that, if I can do without a bag, I will. I do. I don't want gubbins, you know. For me, photography is a very freeing thing, and I don't want to have to negotiate a big heavy weight on my back if I can possibly help it. But obviously there are times when we need bags, and that's where these come in. But I was going to say, the best thing about them, well, not the best thing, but one of the things I really love about them is that with the adjustable inserts, you can tailor it to exactly what you've got. So when the camera's on your, you know, across you diagonally, or however you do it, on your shoulder, the inserts keep. So I'll typically use an MP, and when that camera is in the bag, the inserts, it doesn't. I don't want a tight fitting. I just want a snug fitting, so that as the bag might move, the camera in the bag doesn't. It stays put. It doesn't. You don't get a sort of double movement happening. It's just the camera bag that will move, and that's it. These inserts keep everything just nice and snug. Not too tight, because I want to be able to get it out quickly. If it's too tight, then you're sort of yanking at stuff. No, just a nice fitting, and you can get millimeter perfect, exact fittings. And so, you know, the design is wonderful. I'm not going to talk about other bags, any manufacturers, but I think the wonderful thing about Billingham Bags is that they have an array and a comprehensive range of bags to suit pretty much every need. But within any one particular design, they are extremely well thought out. I don't know whether it's Roz or Martin. I think it's Martin that designs these things. My guess is that he is a photographer. My guess is that he spends an awful lot of time and research getting dimensions right, and understanding markets, understanding the needs of photographers. Obviously, there's no one perfect bag, but I would argue that he comes very close to achieving that. That's the 550. Wonderful bag, probably, you know, oversized for a lot of people today with mirrorless bags. I don't know, you know, but maybe not big enough for some people, you know. So it's there. It's a superb bag. It's beautifully designed. It's finished beautifully. It's got what you need, you know, and that's a bit like a camera. Excuse me. A bit like a camera. If it's really good, you don't really notice it. It doesn't get in the way in that sense. It doesn't distract you from what you need to do. It just does the job, and you're not sort of constantly thinking, that zip is in the way, or why do they put that there? Surely it'd be, you know, it'd be better to have it over here, or you know what I mean? You're not thinking about it, and that's a really good sign that it works and it's well designed. They've done the thinking for you. you're not tripping over, poor design and poor, not very good workmanship. Maybe the bag's falling apart a little bit. These don't fall apart. It's, yeah, they're expensive, but there's value and versus worth, and I think that is a key thing when considering anything, whether it's a camera bag or anything else. The cost of something is obviously the money you fork out for it initially, but its value and its worth is something that over time you begin to realize, okay, 25 years, I can't remember what I paid for it, but they're, I think, around about £700 now, but which is probably the equivalent. I was probably thinking, that's quite a large chunk of money to pay out. But when you think of how well they work, how long they last, is that expensive? You see what I mean? It's probably a lot cheaper than buying 10 bags that fall apart on you. And yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a family in a sense, because I feel like it's a case of Daddy Bear, Mummy Bear, and Baby Bear, and a few siblings thrown in. And I have a black sheep of the family as well to show you. But yeah, I'm very much of the canvas persuasion, very much of the khaki persuasion also. So Mummy Bear here is the 335. It's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar to the 550, but just pared down. Just a smaller version. It's got the handle, exactly the same. It has got sort of satchel straps, as I like to think of them, that again fold over the entire bag and give it that extra layer of protection. It's got the zip to the main compartment. As I say, I keep my I don't think I did say, I keep my cameras in this bag. I seem to be accumulating cameras for some reason. I don't have any of my medium format stuff. There's nothing in the front pouch. There's nothing in the front pouches either. You can attach a Delta pocket here. This is a different fitting. Again, Billingham make it very easy. You go to their website and they do a chart. It looks a bit complicated, but it's not. It's very comprehensive. You simply look at the bag. You run down the left-hand side, look at the bag you've got, 550, 335, or whatever it might be, and they show you which pouch is compatible with that bag. And you need to get that right because they do fit differently. So this is the Delta pouch, which actually can be used. You can put a belt on that. They make it so that you can put a belt on it and just use it as a separate pouch bag. And this is more substantial than the pouches on the 550. This is kind of got a membrane in it with a tie-up thing like that to cinch it closed. And it's very padded. The 550 pouches don't have that padding. It's just the canvas. These are really thick, dense, a lot of protection in there, an awful lot of protection. And the two heavy-duty press studs. And when I say heavy-duty, they're proper heavy-duty. So they're not the flimsy ones that just come undone easily and what have you. If you're going to try and pickpocket that, you've really got to give it some welly, and that ain't gonna be thanked by the pickpocketer, I can promise you that. So the fitting is different. The compatibility you have to get right. This is the upside down Y system. They fit it either side. Again, look at the leather to give it extra, complete strength. And these kind of have straps that come off at the side and then fit around these sections. Are you seeing that? And just pop closed. That's how those fit. Yeah, one on there, on the side, and one on the other side, which very solid studs. Nothing's going to come off. But that's that system. That's how that looks. Works very, very well. It's very well thought out. You can have one on either side. I actually only have the one, but you can put another one that side if you like. And if you're noticing here, most of the flaps that come over, well, all of the flaps of the bags that you're going to see here today, have this extra extended section here, so that when you close it, it sort of comes over the top of the bag. It sort of wraps itself around. So again, that's an extra layer of protection from rain. It doesn't come right neat to the edges here and risk rain getting in at the side. They kind of come over and at the sides, around at the front and wrap it around the sides, which is, again, brilliant design. Again, it has the zip like the 550 at the bag, at the back, and just, really lovely kind of leather, the studs underneath. I mean, I don't know how well you're going to see that in this light, but all beautifully stitched. I don't know if these are the most luxurious bags in the world, camera bags I should say, but you don't need them to be any better than this. It's as good as you need them to be, and then some, I would suggest. But that's the lovely thing about them. People appreciate the quality, but I would argue, more importantly, the design, the concept, the system, how it works, and the design to fit your equipment, and then the design to protect your equipment, whether it be from rain or knocks. They're all padded, they're all strong. You don't have to do anything to them. They just work, and you can forget about them. Really, really, really lovely. Again, you've got, as I say, these two pouches, and the quality of the leather. So when you buy a new one, it's actually pretty stiff. So you've got to use them quite a bit to sort of break that leather a little bit. But again, that's just a nice quality thing, isn't it? You don't want flimsy leather that just looks bad and, after a very short amount of time. These sort of give you some idea. Both hands in there, the front pouches, lots of room, and just very well thought out. This company is, I think they've moved once, as they get larger, then they get another premises. But I think they're Cradley Heath, which is, I think, about 8, 9, 10 miles from Birmingham. So West Midlands, Central England. Just to give you a little bit more information, I meant to mention earlier. So 550, 335. Don't ask me about their numbering system. I'm not sure how it works. I think there's a 5 series or 3 series or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, within these bags, so I've shown you the 550 and the 335. There are bags in between that. I think there's a 445. I can't remember. Again, go to the website, have a look yourself. I'm not trying to sell you a bag here either, by the way. I'm just showing you a range in case you're thinking about it and you can compare and contrast. The 550, the large, the one I've just shown you, the first one I've shown you, sorry, is the largest, and I think they say, forgive me if I think they say that is, it's difficult to gauge exactly because of the pouches and what have you, but that is probably good for about 32-ish litres. Just to give you a sense of volume and, what you might be able to put away in there. I think they do size them up for you. They give you internal dimensions and external, all that sort of good stuff, all that information that is important. But I think it's a 32-litre bag. And then the 335, the smaller, not version, but the smaller bag, is, I think, all in, again, with front pouches and what have you. Not side pouches, because the 335 doesn't come with the Delta pocket. Those are additional purchases if you want them. I think minus those Delta pouches, that it's about half the size. I think it comes in at around about 16 litres. Yeah, so there's a big, you can argue the 550 is twice the size. Now, bit of a leap here. Those are what I'd call my large bags. My most recent, this is a little bit, excessive, isn't it? Having this amount of bags. I do recognise that completely, but they're not bags that I've sort of bought all at once or anything. They're just bags I've acquired over the years. Some are newer than others. But this is the latest one. This is the large, the Hadley Large. That's the latest, so that's probably going to look the newest. I don't know. They all look pretty damn, in good fettle to me. That's the large. Fairly simple bag now. We're sort of dumbing down. Just going to knock something off here. Sorry, beg your pardon. There you go. This is the Hadley Large, and I think this is about 15 litres. Yeah, so not a lot of difference between this and the 335. The 335 has just got more sections, I suppose. And if you put them next to each other, this is a taller bag. It's obviously not as wide this way, and it's probably about the same width this way. But it's taller, so it's a bit deceptive in that way. You'd think this is just going to be a much smaller bag. It's not. It is smaller, but in terms of litres, volume, it's not that much smaller than the 335. And that's one of the reasons I bought it. It's just a simpler bag. I can access it very, very quickly, very, very easily. No zip, you'll notice with this. It's just flat off. And this, I mentioned earlier, this sort of box, this green sage box insert that they do on some of their bags, which I love. I really love. I actually use this insert on a different, a non-Billingham bag occasionally. And then that sort of makes the bag itself a lot larger, a lot more room, I suppose, but you don't have the padding. So it's, you weigh it up. But again, that wonderful 3-ply canvas on the outside, canvas on the inside, and sandwiched in between the rubber membrane. But again, you have the inserts. These are detachable and adjustable completely, so you can get whatever you want in there. Now these are tools, so you know, if I put a 550, an MP in there, for example, in the middle section, so that's, like I say, that's nice and snug. It ain't going to move around in there, but I've got loads of room on top of there. That's either a good thing or not such a good thing. You know, you can put, they've got other dividers that go horizontally. Do I want anything sitting on top of my 550? What am I saying 550 for? Do I want anything sitting on top of my MP? Possibly not. It depends. I don't know, a roll of socks or something wouldn't be a problem, but I don't want anything hard. I don't want another lens in there, but I could get that flap that sits horizontally, and I could put something else in there. Or I could put something at the bottom and have the MP at the top. So you can pick and choose. You have all the control. And again, that is what is lovely about these systems. You can just mix and match to your heart's content, to whatever works for you. We're all different. We all have, you know, different requirements, different needs. But so far, I'm loving this bag. I've no reason to not like it, because I knew exactly what I was getting. Another sort of flap that comes over here, like so. And that all just works brilliantly. The front pockets, huge. Again, much deeper than the 335. I mean, that really is, you know, you're getting a lot of stuff in there. Yes, it will probably eat in a little bit to the overall main compartment, but not that much. Not that much. They're very sizable all on their own. And then, if that ain't enough, you've got so it's even larger on both sides. You can just, again, very solid, and that comes out. No zip at the back. It'd be nice to have a zip at the back, but no zip at the back. That's fine. Sometimes I want a very simple bag. Don't want to think other, you know, compartments all over the place. Just very simple. Top off, in you go, boom, camera out, thanks very much. You know, film in here, a few rolls of film or whatever I want to put in there. And that just works beautifully. I mean, I love this bag. And I'll tell you why I bought this in a second. I'll come on to that, but just the bag alone, again, fantastic quality, every bit as good as a 550, just as well made, same quality, doesn't diminish. As you come down the price scale, the quality doesn't diminish. It stays absolutely consistent, exactly the same. You're just getting a smaller bag. You're just paying for materials, in other words. I actually have a name tag on here. It doesn't come with a name tag. That's a Billingham name tag. You could put anyone on you wanted. I just like the look of that, and it is gorgeous. I mean, it's really, really lovely, sumptuous, very thick leather, and that will last as long as the bag, I'm sure. Yeah, but it is just a name tag at the end of the day. Again, very solid webbing. I've seen bags where these fray. This does not fray. 25 years, you can't argue with longevity. This isn't 25 years, but the 550 years, and that strap is, there's nothing coming off that at all. And I've no reason to believe it would off this. Very nice, just simple but large. This is what I'd call a larger small bag. mean, I could say a small or large bag, couldn't I? But in my mind, when I'm picking whatever I need, it's a larger, small bag. That's kind of how I sort it in my mind. Very useful, very simple, beautifully made, excellent craftsmanship. Don't know whether they're handmade. I'm sure they use machines to some extent. You know, you use a machine to sew, don't you? But I think that's all done by hand. I think that is, they're operated by hand, by very skilled people, and they've got that. The lovely thing about Billingham is that they're, 1973. If you think about that's 50 years, isn't it? They're not a fly-by-night company. It's very reassuring in my mind that they've got a lot of experience in making bags. That's underestimated sometimes. If you have a company that comes into the market and makes, a really nice bag, really expensive bag, or whatever, what's their heritage? What's the lineage here? I don't know whether it's good quality. It might be nice materials, but how well thought out is it? How many bags do they make? How many different styles of bags? What's their history? I don't know. A lot of the time you don't know. 50 years is a nice, very, very nice. Thank you very much. We know what we're doing, kind of thing. And I think that goes a long way. Not only that, but they're a company. Look, if something does go wrong, and accidents happen, don't they? But they do a repair service. Again, that's not a company that just wants your money. That's a company that wants you happy, that wants you, of course, to buy their products, but they want to give you value. They want to look after you, and that's for me a caring company, a company that actually gives two hoots, about not just that you buy the bag, but that you enjoy the bag and that you can feel confident with the bag, and that, hey, if something goes wrong, they can normally sort it out, depending on what it is, obviously. Plus, you've got all these other things that you can buy under their, I don't know what it's called, their miscellaneous tab or whatever. Spares. Might be their spares tab. But you can buy these brand new, these straps. You can get all sorts. I mean, you can get pads, shoulder pads for the straps. Don't ask me to remember everything that's on there, but you can buy spare things, just as you can have bags repaired if something untoward or happens, which is a lovely thing. Baby to that, and that's how I'm going to work this, is the small Hadley, the Hadley Small. Now, quite a difference in size. That's just how they are. It's about the design. Same design, just smaller versions. Much taller. Probably not hugely different in width going that way. You'll have to compensate for the wide angle lens on this camera, but obviously a lot wider this way, but the same design. Now, talking of pouches, extendable pouches that you can strap onto the side, you can't actually do it with the large or the small Hadley. The stitching goes right across here. Okay, stitching goes right across, so you can't get anything in between there. So that's just the way they've designed it. Not sure why. I don't even think of having pouches. Yes, the 550's got it, but they came with it. I often take them off just to reduce bulk, I suppose. But you can't do it on these two bags. Now, I love this bag. This is like a, I don't know, like a man bag or something to me. I use this for all sorts of things, not just photography. I really do. I mean, it's just fantastic. It goes diagonally across the shoulder. Very similar. There you see a plastic carrier bag from a supermarket. But again, very similar. Or I think exactly the same, just different. Insert that comes out. One stud in the front. Yeah, it just pops in or out. Out this comes if you want it to come out. You don't need the padding or what have you. You just want a little bit of extra volume and utilize that. Two pouches at the front. Again, smaller bag, but I can get both my hands in there easily, comfortably. No zip at the back. No studs at the bottom. That's just how they are. They're simple, no fuss kind of bags, I suppose. But very pleasant. Why do I go with khaki? And I wondered that because they do an array of different colours that they didn't do when I bought my first 550. I just, I'm not fashion conscious or anything like that, or fashion slave. I just think there's something very classic about the khaki. I just really like it. It's probably not the stealthiest. I normally like to be stealthy when I'm out photographing. Not stealthy, but I just don't want to stand out. So I don't want a red bag. As pleasant as they are, that's just not me. That's not for me. You could argue that the black versions that they do would probably be more stealthy and more sensible in that respect. But I don't know. For whatever reason, I just like khaki. It's just very neutral. It's very classic. For me, it's just personal preference, isn't it? Bit boring, perhaps, but hey, Billingham is synonymous, I think, with khaki in my mind, just because I grew up with them, and they've always been, from the early ones. I don't think they had all the colours. I think they were only khaki. They might have had black, perhaps, but I think that was a later thing. They were just khaki, and that was my thing. How did I get into the Billingham thing? There are two different things going on. Not so much in parallel, but fairly close fairly close to being side by side. Number one, my tutor at college had a motorbike, and come rain or shine, he would be on this bike. And he had a Billingham. I didn't know it was a Billingham at the time, but what he used to do, forgive me, I'm not a motorbike person, but the bag wouldn't go inside a box at the back of the bag. It just seemed to fit on this rack. And I don't know if they're a thing, but back then you'd have these elastic things with hooks on. They were called snakes, I believe, if I remember rightly. And you just strap it to the metal pannier or whatever it was, and then cinch it down on the pannier, and these two elastic snake things would just... I think it was a 335, it was that kind of size. And it would just hold the bag down. And the thing was, he would ride this bike in the rain, all sorts of weather. And the bag was just pretty trashed with all the smashing down and the weather and everything else. And I remember looking inside the bag once, or seeing inside the bag, and it was just pristine. It was perfect. And I thought that would be a really good advert for Billingham. Yeah. And then coupled with that was this Michael Palin thing. I love Michael Palin, as probably everybody does. Sort of person you would love to go for a beer with. Just lovely kind of disposition and a wit, humour. And anyway, whenever he did these round the world programs, BBC programs, I imagine they were, he would have one of these, what looked very much like a poacher's bag or a fishing bag. which had sort of doubled up, I guess, as a reporter's messenger bag almost. But it was very similar to, I think, in size, to the large Hadley. I should have mentioned that then when I was showing you this one. But that was kind of where the idea got cemented, or what have you. I don't think the bag that he used was a Billingham. It could have been. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it was just a nice khaki travel bag that I thought, I'm going to get myself one of those one day, and yeah, well, I've ended up getting one of these, haven't I? So yeah, but the small and the large Hadley, just very, I think they're pretty much the same bags, but one smaller, one larger. And again, I normally have a tag on that. Don't know where that's gone. Maybe I took it off. I obviously did take it off. But just fantastic for all sorts of little stuff, whether it be photographic or not. Let me just show you an MP going into it. You can maybe kind of get an idea. See, I mean, that just swallows an MP. You think that's a smaller bag, and it is compared to the 550, but these bags seem to take a lot more than you might think. So bear that in mind. Again, 3 sections, Velcro. They just pull out. I'm not going to pull it out now because you know what Velcro does. Okay, that's just set to my MP at the moment, and in it goes. And I've got tons of room there for film or whatever else I want to put in there. And again, these pockets, which again are extendable, and they're just sort of, I don't know what you call them. They're sort of gusset pockets. And again, you can get loads in there. Really, really nice. I could put. I've got bought here. This is my Super A. Could I get one of those in? Probably not, because I can. I can easily, in fact. And an Olympus trip. 3 cameras in there, and loads at the front. That maybe gives you an idea of, again, nice, sensible flap that comes down, doesn't get in the way, at all. It's just another little layer. And why not over the top and round at the sides? You see that? So it's just a really nice, sensible design. They're not the lightest bags in the world, but they're certainly not, horrible and heavy, and they weigh exactly what they look, I guess. 3 cameras in there, still stuff for film. I take 3 cameras with me. I never take 3 cameras with me. But you get the gist, you get the idea, and out they come. And again, lovely padding all the way round. I don't have to worry and get all sort of precious about my equipment. I can just get on with whatever I'm doing. And very, very nice. Really lovely. Now, I'm going to go back one step. I mentioned the black sheep of the family. I do have one of the bag. I don't know why I bought this. Well, I know why I bought it. I don't know why I bought the black version. There must have been a reason. But I can't remember what it was, or if there was one, to be honest. But I would imagine, I think maybe, I don't know. Anyway, Canvas again, this also comes in nitronite. Have I said that right? Fibernite. Fibernite. And this comes with a handle, which is a little, yeah, it's a hard, rigid handle covered in cloth. They do other versions of this. All these bags have bags in between the ones I'm mentioning, so bear that in mind. Again, beautifully finished, but in what looks like a chrome plated, or I'm not sure. It's probably brass with chrome on it. I don't know. But this is the Hadley Pro, and they do the Hadley Pro 2020 and something else, and same size, same dimensions, but it has, the newer ones have leather underneath the handle, and they have a strap going across here so that it can fit over a luggage trolley at the airport. Just sort of loops in all over. And then the zip, I think, has been made, I've got a sort of fold over section here, weatherproof, but the new ones I think have just weatherproof zips. No flap, if I remember correctly. I've got the zip there. And on this one, you'll notice that they have the slots either side, so you can attach pouches if you're so inclined. I've never once thought of doing that with this. If I wanted a large bag, I'd just go to the Hadley Pro. Sorry, the Hadley Large. This is the Hadley Pro. I'll just go to the Hadley Large, which I've just shown you, because it's taller and I think a bit wider. And again, same system. You're getting the idea by now. Sage linings. Again, they do different colour linings. I like the sage, and sage works for me every time. I've got a load of dividers and what have you in there. I've got the strap, the pad for the strap if I want, which is just nice. I don't use it very often, but I do use it sometimes if I've got a very heavy load there. And again, just very simple design. You can pretty much see what happens with that. But, what a substantial pad. It's just, And again, they've got different kinds of shoulder pads depending on the bag, and they'll give you a chart and show you which is compatible with which. And then just two very solid studs that fit down. And then you have a little bit of shoulder cushioning if you've got a very heavy load. Very, very nice bag indeed, and I think very popular. You can get things, if you don't do the stud up, you can get things in between there, but you're not going to get any protection. So outside of the green box within the main compartment. And again, you can, how have I done this? Let me just, oh yeah, so yeah, again, outside of the box, you've got sections there. Now, in terms of laptops, I don't imagine for a second that's not going to fit a 15-inch at all. It may just about fit a 13-inch. I think it would struggle. I'm not sure. Whereas the Hadley Large will definitely fit, without any shadow of a doubt, a 13-inch laptop. But I'm thinking it doesn't have a separate compartment, so it's not padded. So you'd probably have to put a sleeve on the laptop and then put it in. But in terms of size, I think it would accommodate it. But I don't think a 13-inch is going to fit into that. Maybe a smaller pad or something, iPad or whatever. But what do they say about the Pro? It's something like 11 litres, 15 on the Hadley Large, and then this being smaller, 11 litres capacity. So yeah, a sort of something in between the Hadley large and the Hadley small. That's where this fits in. This has got the black name tag. That's just, you know, something I do on my bags. And again, finished beautifully in silver, not brass, but lovely leather all throughout, just where you need it. And it's just, I don't know, just it's thick, really nice, substantial, thick leather that isn't going to go tatty on you in no time at all. This bag doesn't come with the pad, I don't think. Maybe the Hadley Pro 2020 does. I'm not sure. But when I bought this separately. That's for sure. Really nice stealthy bag. The only black one I have, but very, very pleasant. Again, I don't sort of, because it's all black. I mean, you'd have to go onto the website, see all the different colours they do. It's kind of a little bit much sometimes, I think. But the black is going to not go with anything as in fashion, but it's not going to jar. It's not going to, I don't have to think about anything. You know, I like a simple life, an easy life, and khaki and black just are simple colours that are neutral and go with anything. It's classic, isn't it? I guess. So that's that one. Now I think I'm getting to the final bag. Drum roll. This is also a fairly recent purchase. Not as new as the Hadley Large, but this is the digital. Smaller than the Hadley Small. This is the smallest Billingham I own. And I did make a note here. What's that? 3 litres. Yeah, 3 litres. And again, I love this bag. You've got the buckle on all of the straps, but you've got the quick release thing, so you're not tearing apart Velcro and making a noise if you're in a church or whatever. It just works. It's very simple, very easy. In you go, very quick. And again, I use this for all sorts of other stuff, as well as, you know, there's nothing to stop you using a carrier bag for your photography kit, is there? Vice versa, you can use a photography bag for your shopping or whatever you're doing. This doubles up, and again, I love, you know, I've got the horizontal flaps on this. It all changes. I don't have a removable Sage box this time. This is all fitted in on the digital, but it does have all the removable and changeable inserts to enable you to conform exactly what you want to your requirements. In the MP goes, and again, you know, I can swing that round and no problem whatsoever, no worries, lovely padding all around. Very nice, very reassuring, you know. And again, what's it fit? Well, yeah, I can fit my MP in there, no problem. And then either side of the MP, I've got 2 slots again for plenty of film. And again, the gusseted pouch at the front there. Only one this time, obviously, yeah, just because it's so small. But they've used the whole width of the bag, which is nice to incorporate that front pocket. Again, very solid stud, gorgeous leather all throughout. Yeah, small, but look, if I'm only taking my camera out and I know I don't need anything else, you know, I could put my keys or whatever, my phone in there if I wanted to. But guess what? That's just all I need. I don't want a bigger bag than across it goes, and it's just around the back of my bag, in the sort of arch of my back, or above my arse or something like that. That's how I wear it, out the way. So I've got hands free, and that's how I like to do it. Again, it doesn't come with this. It's just something I bought as an accessory, or whatever you want to call it. Billingham again. This sort of thing that could be dumbed down, couldn't it? You kind of think, well, it's just a name tag. No, not at all. It's beautiful quality, really thick, substantial. Smells beautiful, very good quality leather. And that's the digital. I'm hugely fond of this. Very, very, very pleased with it. They all get used. That's the thing, that you can go, well, that's quite a lot of bag, but the thing is, they all get used, and so they're not surplus to requirement. I can just pick and choose. I don't have any more needs, for a Billingham bag. I think I pretty much covered all the bases, thankfully, and just choose one depending on what I'm doing. So it's a nice, versatile, comprehensive range that I can just pick and choose, and that's the nice thing. That's the really lovely thing. What can I say? I don't know. I don't know of another manufacturer that does such a comprehensive range and retains that consistent quality throughout their range. I don't think there's another company like Billingham, and I just believe that worldwide they're renowned and known now as a very, very solid, great bag for all sorts of things. You could not be interested in photography and use these. Women can use these. Anybody can use them. They're not sort of designed to one thing alone. I know lots of people that use these things as what for whatever purposes they have. I think some women use them as handbags. Why not? It's very attractive handbag, isn't it, in a way? You pick and choose, but the one thing that you're going to get is a good quality, lovely bag that's going to last a long time. And that's the thing over the Fibre Night. I kind of like the way, Fibre Night's supposed to look newer for longer, according to Billingham. I think that's true, and I think that's a great way to go. Fantastic, no problems with that whatsoever. But I just like the way canvas ages. I don't want it looking brand new, or I want it to look a little bit weathered and a little bit, that's fine by me. I mean, I don't think these do look particularly, it takes a long time to get them to that stage. Maybe you have to buy a motorbike or something and attach one to the back of it to get it to look like that. I don't know. But the canvas will do for me every time. Again, it's just a personal preference. And for me, they tick all the boxes. That's enough said on Billingham photography bags. I knew it was going to be a little bit ambitious, but hey, I've done it. Got it out of the way. Hopefully that was useful in case you want to buy one, or maybe I've turned you off them completely forevermore. It matters not. It's just another bit of information. And hopefully that was interesting to some extent. Thanks very much for stopping by, and cheers for now.